The air smelled like bread and ash. I remember thinking it was strange how the birds had gone silent. In Pompeii, silence meant something was wrong. My name was Marcus. I was a baker's son, 17 years old, and I had less than an hour to live.
It started with the mountain. Vesuvius had been grumbling for days, but mountains always grumbled. The priest said it was the gods turning in their sleep. My father said it was nothing. He was kneading dough when the first tremor hit, strong enough to crack the oven, to send flour dust dancing in the sunlight streaming through our door. Just the earth settling, he muttered. But I knew better, because the birds knew better. By midday, the sky had changed. What should have been blue was now the color of a bruise, purple and swollen and wrong. Then came the sound. Not an explosion, not thunder. Something worse. A tearing, like the world itself was being ripped open. The column of smoke rose from Vesuvius like a dark god reaching for the heavens. At first, people gathered in the streets, pointing, murmuring. Some laughed nervously, others prayed. And then the ash began to fall. It came down like snow, soft, almost beautiful, gray flakes drifting through the afternoon light. Children tried to catch it on their tongues until their mothers screamed at them to get inside, because this snow was hot, this snow burned. I ran home. The streets were already filling with people, some running toward the harbor, others frozen in doorways, unable to decide whether to flee or hide. An old woman clutched my arm, her eyes wild. "The gods are angry," she whispered. "The gods are devouring us." I tore free and kept running. The ash fell thicker now. It piled in drifts against walls, filled the gutters, turned the world gray and ghostly. I could barely see 10 feet ahead. People stumbled past me like shadows, fathers carrying children, wives dragging husbands, slaves helping their masters or abandoning them entirely. The screaming started when the stones fell. Not ash anymore, pumice, rocks the size of fists raining from the sky, still hot from the mountain's belly. They smashed through roof tiles, cracked skulls, left people bleeding in the streets. A stone hit the wall beside me, and I felt the heat of it through my tunic. I had to get home. I had to find my father. But the city was dying around me. The heat came next, rolling waves of it, like standing too close to the oven, but everywhere, inescapable. People tore at their clothes, gasped for air that had turned to fire in their lungs. I wrapped my cloak over my face, but the cloth grew hot against my skin. Through the ash-choked darkness, I saw them, my neighbors, people I'd known my whole life, transformed into something primal. A merchant fought a slave for a horse that was already dead. A mother sat in the street, rocking a bundle that no longer moved. An old man simply lay down in the ash and closed his eyes. I found our bakery buried under a foot of pumice and ash. The door was jammed. I could hear my father inside, coughing, calling my name. "Marcus! Marcus, help me!" I pulled at the door. It wouldn't move. The ash was too heavy, the frame warped from heat. My fingers bled as I clawed at the wood. "Father, I'm here. I'm trying." His voice grew weaker. "The back door, Marcus. Use the back." But there was no time. The darkness fell like a curtain. Not the darkness of night. This was absolute, suffocating, solid. The air itself had turned to poison. I couldn't see my hands in front of my face, couldn't breathe without choking on sulfur and ash. People screamed in the black, not words anymore, just animal sounds of terror. I abandoned the front door and stumbled toward the alley, toward the back entrance. But I couldn't see,
couldn't breathe. The heat was unbearable now, like being slowly cooked alive. I felt my way along the wall, my lungs burning, my eyes streaming tears that evaporated on my cheeks. The back door. I just needed to reach the back door. My hand found wood, found the handle. I pulled. Nothing. I pulled again, harder, desperate. The door was swollen shut, or blocked from inside, or... A wave of heat knocked me to my knees. The air was gone. All of it. Just fire now. Just burning darkness and the taste of sulfur and death. I reached for the door one last time. My fingers touched the wood, and the mountain's fury descended.
They found me centuries later, frozen in stone, still reaching for the door that never opened. The archaeologists were gentle when they poured the plaster into the hollow where my body had been. They preserved my final moment, hand outstretched, face turned toward the door, knees bent as if I might stand again at any second. I'm in a museum now. People file past every day, staring at the boy who almost made it. They read the placard that says I was approximately 17 years old, that I died trying to reach shelter, that the pyroclastic surge would have killed me in seconds. But here's what they don't know. Here's what the placard doesn't say. When they opened that back door centuries later, they found him too. My father, preserved in ash, slumped against the door from the inside, his hand on the handle. We were separated by 3 inches of wood, both of us reaching, neither of us able to open the door between us. The birds knew to fly away. They knew silence meant danger. They knew when to leave. We stayed, and Pompeii kept us forever, frozen in that last desperate moment, still trying to save each other, still reaching through the door that would never open, still reaching.